the Mediterranean Sea, summer 1971. Archaeology, especially marine archaeology, is a slow and painful discipline. The gentlest touch could destroy an ancient, fragile artifact, and the waves distribute it in every direction. The key to successful recovery of underwater artifacts is patience. Sergei Sidorov, the Russian head of the multinational marine archaeology company, or MMAC, was not known for his patience. Shall I take the controls? Sorry, I can't do a Russian accent. He prodded his colleague Maria as she operated the extending robotic hands of the diving bell that they were enclosed within. She blew upwards to stop a bead of sweat dripping down her forehead into her eyes. "I can do it, Sergei," she responded, not taking her eyes off the black and white monitor showing the output of her adjustments. The arm was sweeping some ancient pottery into a collection net. "We have to be careful. You do realize that, don't you?" "You are right, of course, my little darling," he patronized her. "But we are on a tight schedule, and our backers want to see a quick return on their investment." "Dollar signs." Maria rolled her eyes. "All you see are dollar signs." "Not true, my lovely. I have eyes for other things." "Creep." She shook her head. "I can't believe that you would speak to your boss like this," he chuckled. "You should—" A sudden silence unnerved her. "What is it?" she asked. "What's wrong?" He was staring out of the starboard porthole. "Nothing. I thought I saw something, that's all. I think I'll take a little nap, leave things in your excellent hands, Maria. I just hope I don't have the same dream again." She looked up from her monitor. "What dream?" He waved his hand dismissively. "Something we retrieved from down here last week. Some kind of statue. I can't stop thinking about it." "Is it of a naked woman, by any chance?" "You know me too well," he grinned. "But no, I don't know what it's meant to be." He dozed for a few minutes while Maria completed the sweep of artifacts from the seabed. She was about to wake him to suggest they take the collection back to the platform above them, when something caught her attention outside of the porthole. She adjusted the lights so that they swiveled to face the direction of the strange movement a short distance from them. What they illuminated made her bite her fist in terror. It was a man, a green man, bulbous eyes. It was half swimming, half walking towards the bow, a long coral spear gripped in its finned hands. "Sergei," she whispered. "Sergei, look at this thing." He groaned, still half asleep. "What do you want, my love?" The big round eyes seemed to bore into her. She couldn't look away. It came closer to the diving bow, spear pointing straight at her. Closer. Closer. The diving bell shook. Sergei, oblivious to all of this, was operating the controls. Up we go," he muttered to himself. They began their ascent. It was only then that he noticed that Maria was in a state of shock. "What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." "Maybe I have, Sergei. There was a man down there, a kind of reptile man. He was hideous." Sergei laughed mockingly. "Another admirer, Maria? A rival for your affection, checking you out?" But he saw that she wasn't joking. Her face was completely drained of blood, her eyes wide like saucers. "It didn't just look at me, Sergei," she said finally. "It looked through me, like it could see inside my soul." I happened to be at a conference in Madrid when I got the phone call, a tip-off from a journalist who followed my work. This was either the 16th or the 17th. A possible sighting of an as-yet unknown underwater civilization. It sounded too good to be true, but I had to investigate. I bluffed my way out to sea and then on board the MMAC-1, a large flat boat effectively, and the home-from-home used by the marine archaeology team. They had been granted a license from the Spanish government to examine the bottom of the ocean in return for any interesting artifacts that were being recovered been provided to the Madrid History Museum. Sergei Sidorov, the leader of the group, was a big, barrel-chested Russian who welcomed me heartily. He was keen as mustard to prove to me that nothing unusual had occurred, and I think it amused him to tease Maria that she had been seeing things. The crew of the platform were a friendly bunch, though there was some tension there which I couldn't quite put my finger on. But yes, Sergei was keen to prove that nothing had happened. So keen, in fact, that he offered to take me down the diving bell for a look under the surface myself. Maria would have nothing to do with this outing. I do not consider myself an adventurous man, but I must admit the scientific joy of experiencing such a thing was intoxicating. I practically bit his hand off at the offer to plunge the depths. I'm ashamed to admit it almost. But I got it all on tape for my records. There we are. Careful what you say, Sergei. You're being recorded.
It's so tiny. I have never seen a recorder that small. Isn't it marvelous, this modern technology?
You don't mind if I record this? I'd like to take some photographs as well.
You should have warned me first. I would have shaved and combed my hair.
You can't improve upon perfection, Sergei.
How right you are. Well, that shows that radio check's okay. Pressure checks also A-okay.
Can I help at all?
Not in the slightest, Professor. Just sit down and enjoy the ride. Okay? Let's dive.
Dive, dive, dive.
This is most exciting. I must admit that, at least at the beginning, I was enjoying the ride. There was some initial seasickness, but that soon passed. It was a few minutes after we submerged that it struck me just how isolated, how exposed we were down there. Just one crack in the side of the bow and we'd drown. The speed of descent didn't help matters.
A few hundred feet.
Slow down descent a little, Bruce.
It is a bit choppy down here, isn't it?
You think this is bad?
A few 150 feet. Slowing descent now.
Thank you so much. My ears were starting to hurt.
You barely use some Russian. You'd know miss them.
It's just you that I refuse to listen to.
280 feet. What's it look like out there?
Murky. It's very murky.
Here, I switch lights on.
Oh my, what a difference! The ocean was teeming with life, and sea creatures large and small swam past the porthole, possibly as intrigued by us as we were by them. Of course, all of this was rather routine for Sergei, and some of the magic had worn off, but I noticed him watching me with some satisfaction from the corner of his eye. This was a man who liked to be well thought of by others. A joker, perhaps.
2,800 feet. We're nearing the end of the rope now, gentlemen.
Not much further. I need you to slow us right down, Bruce, like the pace of the snail.
You mean snail pace? Like the speed your brain moves at?
Turn that radio off a minute, or I'm going to say something he will regret.
This button here, is it? We eventually reached the same depth where Maria had sighted the strange creature. Initially, the murky water obscured all but a few inches in front of the bow, but eventually the darkness cleared and...
There! You see it?
Oh, goodness me! It's like a submerged city! Look at that! It looks like it was once some kind of marketplace. I'm rather surprised just how well preserved all this is. Let me take some photographs.
It's perfect. The archaeological find of this century. And it's all mine.
That seems like a strange attitude to take, Sergei. A discovery like this, well, it should be for the Spanish people, or even the world.
The Spanish government are welcome to it, what I have taken its treasures.
It didn't do to argue with the man that you're stuck in close proximity in a bathysphere with, so I let my concern about this sudden display of mania wash over me without comment. He was a simple man, driven by simple desires, it seemed. It was then that something most fantastical occurred. I'm still not sure I fully understand it, or even that I want to.
Did you see that?
See what?
Come, look over here.
Oh, yes.
There it is.
What is that? Some kind of reflection? A broken mirror, perhaps?
No, I don't think so, my friend. It seems to be coming closer to us.
A lanternfish, then?
Not at this depth.
The glowing light, whatever it is, seems to be pulsing, throbbing. It's a green light, though I imagine that tint might be due to, What did you say?
Oh. My head hurts.
Sir Guy, here, let me help you.
Oh.
Sit down. Come on now.
The light. I can hear it. Can you hear that?
Hear what? Sir Guy, I think you'd better take a rest. I'll just radio your friend up top.
No!
Please, what are you doing?
No radio. No radio. They want to talk to us. Can't you hear them?
I can't hear anything. What on earth is going on? Is that light out there calling to you in some way? Now look. Oh, I can't. I think I'm going to... Oh, help me. You must help me.
Please do not do that again. I am sorry. I am so sorry. You must believe me. Yes, it was I took it. You want it back? I'll get it for you. I promise. Just please let me go. No, please, not the pain again. Not the pain. Not the pain.
When I came to, shadowy, concerned faces were leering over me, the gulls screeching above them in the sky. Relief flooded over Maria's concerned face. "Thank God you're both okay," she whispered breathlessly. She helped me sit up, and I came to realize that I was on deck of the MMAC. Sir Guy laid out next to me. We'd been pulled from the bathysphere by the crew in a state of unconsciousness. Sir Guy was breathless, his hair matted with sweat. That was quite something, wasn't it? He was grinning, attempting to make light of it all. "Whatever you took from them, you must give it them back," I told him. The smile dropped slightly as he began to realize that perhaps I was right. "What happened to us?" he asked. "What were those strange lights?" "Purely conjecture." I stood up, unsteady on my weakened legs. "But given that sound doesn't travel at all while underwater, perhaps the creatures have developed a way to communicate using light." Maria shook her head, unable to take it all in. "I can't believe this is happening," she repeated a few times until Sir Guy stood up and put a reassuring arm around her. But she pushed him away. "You must return the statue to them, Sir Guy," she instructed him. "We never should have brought it up to the surface." He was about to agree when the young Scot, Bruce, came jogging over, a printed readout in his hand, flapping in the wind. "I'm sorry, boss," he said in that gentle Highland voice. "There was a problem with the oxygen mitts." He gave the long strip of paper to Sir Guy, who squinted to read the results, but clearly didn't understand what he was looking at. "Explain," he snapped at his subordinate. "I tested what's left of the bar's oxygen supply. The mix was all wrong. Too much carbon dioxide. There must have been a leak somewhere. We could have killed you out there." Far from being upset, Sir Guy simply smiled. "So that explains it." "Explains what?" I asked. "One side effect of too much carbon dioxide is hallucinations. I thought as a professor you would know that." I ignored the veiled insult. "Are you seriously suggesting that what we just experienced was an hallucination?" He was thinking about whatever that damned statue that they had brought up was. I could see it in his eyes. "It is an explanation that fits the facts," he answered finally. "But Sir Guy," Maria implored, "what about the previous dive? Can you explain what I saw then?" He couldn't. But he didn't need to. Bruce coughed and looked embarrassed. "The thing is, Maria Hen, the tank could have been pierced for days now, the hole in it getting bigger and bigger as time went on." No, she said, backing away. People don't have shared hallucinations, do they, Professor? They do not. I'm going to bring it out here, she started. Maria, Sir Guy warned. Whatever you're thinking of doing, stop. She ran across the deck and was about to enter the cabin when he caught up with her and violently grabbed her by the wrist. Let me go. That statue stays inside the safe, he declared. Will you let her go? I begged him, the discomfort on Maria's face painful to observe. He relented, eventually. I think that we all need to calm down, he addressed the crew. You all need to remember who's in charge here, and I say we keep the statue. Would anyone like to argue with me? I couldn't help but rise to the challenge, which had quietened the rest of the crew at least. You're making a big mistake, Sir Guy, I said quietly. I thought for a moment that he might explode at being questioned like that, but the anger left him like water pouring from a glass. It was replaced with a steely determination. You are no longer welcome on board this platform, Professor. The daily boat back to the mainland comes at 5:30. You will be leaving on it. And so will anyone else who questions my authority. Do I make myself clear? Perfectly. I still think about her occasionally. Maria, I mean. Lovely girl. Oh, and the rest of the crew, of course, but not Sir Guy. He brought this upon himself, upon them all. If only I could have made them listen, to take me seriously. They might still be here now.
Hello, can you hear me? This is an urgent SOS. Come in, please. I say again, this is an urgent SOS. Oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on out there? This is MMAC platform 38. Sir Guy, was that Maria? It got her. What do you mean it got her? Is she dead?
I don't know.
Well, for heaven's sake, man, we have to let her in.
It's come from me. Bruce, it wants to kill me.
Get back from that door, we've got to let her in.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ, no.
Shut the door. Don't let it in.
Get off him. You leave him alone. Leave him alone. Oh, my God. You've killed him. No, leave me. No.